This is the Saboteur here on PC Steam. This was provided by the EA Content Creator Network. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So the reason we're checking this out is because this classic pandemic game has returned to Steam. It's fixed, it's cleaned up, and it brings with it some improvements, I guess you could say. But regardless, it's kind of just nice to have this classic, well-loved, open-world experience that I don't think too many people really checked out at the time, which was a bit of a shame. So I checked this out not too long ago on the Xbox 360. I bought a copy because I never thought that EA would re-release this or update it or even make it available. But alas, here we are. So on the 360 we get like a low resolution of like 720p, 30 FPS. But here on PC I have the 4090 with the i9 13900K. So obviously this runs like a dream. Full native 4K, all the bells and whistles, and 60 FPS. So this game is a bit limited though in terms of your gameplay experience because it is something of its time. You know, it is a fairly old title. So this one actually has a separate launcher that you adjust your video graphic settings in before you play the game. And then you're able to launch the game after you close that window. So there are some settings, and I should mention that this does have mouse and keyboard support alongside controller support. And it feels like the controller support is actually better than it was back in the day, which is kind of cool. So it does also have a nudity feature, which is kind of funny.
Right, now we're in business. Put the kiddies to bed already.
Which I think is kind of a good laugh there. Audio settings, we turned off music in case there's any issues, and then video is just gamma correction. So as I mentioned, you literally have to change all the visual settings outside of the actual game, which is intriguing, but something that was decently common at that time. So the game looks clean, it looks crisp. I'm hoping that this is the start of EA moving more games over to kind of Steam and re-releasing a lot of their old titles. So if you do like these looks at old games, you know, be sure to let me know, as they did also release things like the Command & Conquer collection and Populous and stuff alongside this. So yeah, this game's really cool. It's got some neat aesthetics and style to it. It essentially starts out with this black and white aesthetic. And then as you battle, as you take sections, you're actually bringing a vibrancy to this city under siege, this city under occupation. You're an Irishman that is here as like a mechanic, and there's a bit of like a backstory thing and a bit of a romance to it as well. And this was from back in like 2000, like late 2009. I guess it was like literally like December this one released, which probably maybe contributed to why it wasn't a super big, well-known seller at the time. It would be cool to get like a remaster, would be honestly really, really awesome for this kind of game. I mean, it looks crisp and clear, it's sharp, it's fluid on PC, but it would be nice to see this available again on the consoles. Even if they could do like backwards compatibility for Xbox, that would be great on this title, as I do feel that this is a bit of a classic open world game that just kind of gets forgotten, and that is a real shame because I think Pandemic made really, really cool open worlds. And this was a neat special one that was like mature and intense and awesome. And then it's kind of just largely been forgotten. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Mafia. But obviously that game needed a full remake, and I could kind of see where you could argue that perhaps this one could do for that as opposed to just getting re-released, because I'm not sure if it fully holds up in regards to, you know, the style that people expect in the modern era for gaming. So the game follows this mechanic individual. You get to see a flashback in a little bit. We'll be showing that off, don't worry. And Sean Devlin is a hard-drinking Irish race car driver mechanic, immigrated to France France to escape his criminal past, and, you know, kind of a regular among the racing groups in Paris, and you're kind of just thrown into the middle of this action and this fight, and it's kind of a cool single-player game. Like, it has a good amount of content to it, and you'll see in a second here how the aesthetic kind of changes depending on the situation you find yourself in, which is pretty cool. Yes, the resistance against the Nazi forces. It's always a good time when you're fighting against that opposition, right? But yeah, I love the style of the city here. You get to see, like, this place that's just sad and sulky, and then you're actually making a difference through your actions, which is rather fascinating. A lot of other games, they don't kind of do that, and that's what sort of sets this one aside from other experiences, is how you directly have an impact on the world, which I think is really, really cool. And it's nice to play this game looking so sharp and clean and fluid. As I mentioned, you know, playing it on Xbox 360 because it's not backwards compatible, and even then, you know, who knows if it would be upgraded. Just was kind of like, holy, the difference in fidelity going from that one to this one is crazy. And the 4090, not even breaking a sweat, kind of running this, which I guess really isn't too surprising. You know, full effects, rain, everything like that, full 4K, all settings maxed out. There's not really a lot of settings though. It's mostly just like shadows and, you know, kind of draw distance stuff. Even then, you're going to see some draw distance stuff outside of the city doesn't hold up the best, but for the most part, like, I think this looks great, especially for something that's, oh wow, like 2009, we're getting up to like 50. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. Actually, that's a long time. But I think it's still a really great game, and the reason I wanted to do a video on it is A, trying to do more PC stuff, but also B, I just really think this is a cool game, and I wanted to highlight it, especially having an excuse to sit here and kind of play it, like a good reason to kind of do so. Yeah, up on the D-pad to plant the sabotage here. And I like the core gameplay loop, and I like the setup of this one. I hope I have an excuse to sit there and kind of play through more of it at some point down the road. But yeah, this game is just kind of awesome and cool. Like, if you've ever wanted to check it out or you're not familiar with it, it's definitely worth a run, because I think it is pretty spectacular, especially for its era and its time. Like, there's lots of cool little effects, like, you know, you got all these creatures flowing around, you got moving clouds up above, there's good detail in the environment, and voila, we're now in a world that is full of color because we've been making a difference in the battle. That's such a cool aesthetic choice because it just makes this world look a little crazier, right? Like, it just adds this nice level of vibrancy to it, as you get to see this shift and this change between the thing. Oh, kind of surprised they're not going after me. Usually they're, like, chasing you for your destruction of their property, but I guess I got out pretty smoothly on that one. I'm actually doing a really good job on this one.
Tonight we changed the course of history, man.
Yeah, we did. Watch out for all the poor pedestrians.
Though I must admit it, that fireball did make a pretty picture.
Yeah, it did.
You are wrong.
I love the dialogue and the characters and just the mature narrative style to this one. I think it's great.
Now that you mention it, it is just the beginning.
And these streets look nice. I know it's probably a little aged for what some people are expecting, but yeah, it's still a pretty cool thing. So we're going to skip to the next area because this particular club is a little mature, so we're going to elect to ignore this spot, and we're just going to pick up from the new area. So we're now in a 3-month earlier time period, where we get to meet some different characters, get to enjoy a little bit of the fancy style of racing and driving, and a little bit of the open countryside. This is where I was mentioning that some elements of the game don't necessarily hold up the best, and that's a lot of it has to do with like the draw distance and the poppin'. In the city, it's pretty well hidden, but when you do get out into the country, or you do see some spots that are a little bit more vast in their style, like, you can definitely see that this is a game of its era from looking out there. And that would be something, I guess, a remaster and or remake would kind of bump up. And that's where I'm kind of drawing some comparison lines to, say, Mafia 1. Just in terms of games from the 360 era, kind of needing some deeper adjustments and reworking for the modern era. Some of them clean up really, really well. I still think the car model looks incredible in this. Seriously, like, that is just stunning. And I still think it looks nice, and I still think it looks fine. But yeah, it is kind of funny just, like, driving along and, like, literally seeing all the grass and, like, a lot of objects and stuff just popping in front of you. And that would have been done to make sure that at the time, this ran nicely on different PC configurations instead of, you know, kind of melting your PCs. Because I don't, like, it's nice that it goes up to 4K, but I don't know if we would have even at that time had much 4K. And I'm a pretty early adopter of, like, technology like that, but 4K wouldn't have been super popular. Look, all the flowers that are sprouting and forever to bloom beside us. Look at them, they're just, like, popping up to meet me along my pleasure drive across the countryside. But I like the narrative, I like the characters. It's a neat world, it's got a great sense of, like, scale and style to it. It's just kind of a fun game, and that's really what I'm here to do, is kind of showcase and be like, you know, this is something you might enjoy. And it's also, like, it's stylistic too. Like, there is a certain aesthetic to it. Like, it's being realistic, right, or trying to be, but it is, you know, also got some style and some attitude to it. I think the character models actually hold up really, really well in this one. Same with, like, cinematic moments, and yeah, it's kind of cool. Always dealing with the Nazis, right?
You just keep your eyes on the track and the pedal to the floor, my friend.
The pedal to the metal.
You volunteering to be my manager?
What's so funny? I didn't have to be a mechanic, you know. I could have done anything.
Okay.
My teacher used to say to me, Jules, all of these kids are stupid. Your cousin Javier. But not you, Jules. You are too clever for your own good.
Where did that get you?
The brains in the family.
She likes to think so.
What's her beef with me anyway? I can't put a foot right when she's around.
Hey, it's not just you. Veronique is tough on men in general.
Why's that?
One of these days, I'll take you to my family's cabaret in Paris, huh?
Oh, one of these days, eh? Can't wait to see that happen.
Let's just say
Oh, did we just kill that poor man? I am so sorry.
My friend, you have no idea.
He's still alive? Nah, he's dead. It was just a love tap, too. This scene's a lot of fun. It's kind of very entertaining. But yeah, you can definitely see they've got, like, really good detailed environments. Oh, wow. Hello there. I don't love the symbolism you're wearing, but you are rocking that outfit and have great assets. Maybe she's forced to wear that kind of outfit, you know? Maybe she's just trying to fit in and stuff and all that. And oh my god. Like, seriously, like, just the visual quality of these characters. You know, it also reminds me a little bit of The Godfather. I don't know if you've played the Godfather games, but I definitely get those vibes. Oh, we got some planes flying over. Ah, oh. Playing a sad tune. 3 RMs for a baguette? No way. Oh, usually there's someone here that's, like, selling papers. That's a bit weird. Maybe it is a very dynamic open world. That's fascinating. And obviously it all loads fast. I mean, that's kind of expected, right? Fun bar scene. I miss Pandemic Studios so much. They made some of my favorite games.
You run into any trouble?
You know, actually going off of this one, if they were continuing development on future games and they were building, like, AAA open worlds, I think they could have really become a strong narrative contender in the modern era, building off of this gameplay concept and style, right?
Another round for me, mates.
Another round.
You'll need a clear head tomorrow.
We've got a tough race ahead of us.
Kurt Durker. I thought he was retired.
No.
Speak of the devil.
And he shall arrive. The tough, strong German races. They compete at the highest level of car competition.
Guten Abend, Herr Morini. Always a pleasure to welcome one of our Italian friends to the fatherland. I was just speaking of my admiration for General Mussolini. A kindred spirit to our own Führer. Your country is fortunate to have such a leader, yeah?
Ooh.
Racing is my passion. I find little time for politics.
Sometimes racing is politics.
No, there is a difference.
From
You
racing
must
and
forgive
politics?
my ignorance, Herr Morini. We Germans are a simple people. Perhaps you would enlighten us further?
No.
One's a hobby for rich assholes who can't get laid without a flashy car and a silly uniform. The other is racing.
Oh.
This must be that British mechanic who thinks he's a driver.
I'm fucking Irish.
It's
Oh.
getting late. Why don't we call it a night?
The night is young, Fräulein. Stay, dine with me.
I've no taste for German cuisine.
Not yet, perhaps. But soon, the women of your country will learn to savor the taste of a purebred German bratwurst.
Oh. And now it's time for a bar fight. Nothing better than having a bar fight against Nazis. Ow.
I am not going anywhere.
Enough! I'm taking her upstairs.
Wow, I just kind of threw that guy. It's a bar fight. Bar fight before the big race. Oh, and the environment's like really receptive to if you're like hits. Oh, just punched a random guy.
Don't think he can hear you.
That poor dude. He's just sitting here trying to have a drink. And I'm like smacking around these guys.
Here comes the pace mechanic. John, the barman's talking to the police. I'll take care of everything.
I hope he's not talking to the police.
Get out of here.
Jules, time to get scared.
You know what's also cool? You can smack the bottles. Oh, maybe I can't right now? Ah, yeah, see, like, why are there physics on the bottles? It doesn't even make sense, but yeah, you can, like, you can hit some of the bottles and they, like, move around and stuff. It's like, why is that even a feature in this? Bar fight! Bar fight. See, this game's awesome. The Saboteur is a great time. Very, very good time. Let us go out onto the streets. But there's the dynamic characters it's setting up. And maybe a little bit of romance, too. Oh, well, that's a fancy car.
Fuck me. Skylar?
Are you chatting me up?
Of
Hello,
course.
Sean. Hi, Jules.
Merde. We'll catch up later. Right now, we need to borrow your car.
They've got a big escape coming.
So much for awkward small talk.
Drive the fucking car!
Hold on to your arses.
Let's go.
Just like old times, eh, Skylar?
We've
No,
got to
it's all
escape.
moment. How long have you been in town?
Just got in, actually.
I see you wasted no time running afoul of the local police.
Yep.
Those fellas behind us, they're just having a laugh.
Is this Desperado routine meant to be a turn-on?
I don't know. Is it working?
Would you watch the fucking road, please?
We're getting, like, shot up and stuff. It's not even that big of a deal. We're just driving away, escaping. We had just got into a bar fight.
Benefits of a higher education.
Rolling the girls as crazy as you are?
Give us a bit of privacy, would you, Jules?
Oh, I'd love
I love the interactions between these characters. I love how we're also killing people along the way. It's not bad enough that we're like running in with the police, but we're killing
Fancy a
people.
nightcap?
Brilliant. I'm parched.
Oh, you can get to the hotel.
I'm not going to be the third wheel. Take me back to the hotel.
Very well.
Bed. Keep the noise down, eh? I need some fucking rest.
Come on. I'll sneak you in the back door.
Wouldn't have it
Oh.
any other way.
Ho 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 ho! I love how these two interact. It's a lot of fun. This game's really great, honestly.
Nothing like a brisk evening drive to quicken the blood. Except perhaps a single malt McGarren, aged...
Oh, she's got the assets too.
Must be Christmas. Lucky for Jules and me, you came sliding down the chimney when you did.
Christmas, is it? Oh, I'm afraid I've been a bad girl.
Aye, I'm certain of it.
Whatever happened after that weekend in Monaco? You never rang me up.
You never gave me your number?
Hmm,
An excuse.
that's
You're
true.
not still pining for Jules's little sister, are you? She's a bit of a bore, don't you think?
I don't think I'm her type.
Hmm.
No. You in town for the race?
What can I say? I have a weakness for men in fast cars. I've been all over Europe following the circuit. Mum and Dad are mortified, of course.
Beats working for a living.
I wouldn't know.
What's this for? Shaving your legs?